Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So Bitcoin basically holding the line after a little bit of a tumble of the stock market, a retracement, if you will. Nasdaq took a bit of a tumble last night. Boom, a little bit of a retracement. While Bitcoin held the line, the dollar had a little bit of a surge there, and also Bitcoin held the line. So let's go see where it wants to go over the weekend. Low liquidity weekend upon us on Saturday, October 14th. I have to make this update as short and sweet as possible so I can take my kids to some English club at my friend's house. So we were talking about coming up to this pool that it would possibly come up to and tap out that 100x liquidity. It did some meandering around, but eventually made up its mind if we shift this over to here. And it did just that to those shorts.
Fatality.
Let's go see those pools now. I will go ahead and delete this. Actually, we'll leave it there. We'll come back to it. We're jumping the gun. Let's go back really quick. Okay. So first, let's go into high block capital. What is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters lie in wait. So let's do it now. So we were looking at this pool of $306 million shorts that they came back into. Meanwhile, pinging in some longs to the tune of 146 million in 100x. So they said, hey, no thank you, and they came back immediately for those $146 million 100x longs.
Fatality.
And it's just they can't win on either side. They get trapped between a rock and a hard place. They immediately give it back after taking out both sides. So where do they want to go from here? They pinged in more longs. There's still an imbalance to the tune of $5.4 billion to the short liquidity that they could still come up to this 271 character. So they could bounce off that, but so far they've given back everything and just created a sideways range. This character has been taken back, so we will delete his pool. Well, actually, we'll leave that up for a bit. And yeah, expand to the external pool. So the external pool is now generating a little bit down here at 26.4, some $6 billion or so, but also having a larger imbalance to the upside to the tune of 28.3. So the 7-day time frame does have a bit of a retracing to do. Lucy, you got some retracing to do. And on the monthly time frame, you have some double-digit pools, $50 billion down in the 26K region. So the overall imbalance to the downside on the monthly. So the 7-day calling for upside, monthly calling for downside, 3-month calling for downside, and 6-month calling for downside, with the pools down sub 24K. This also is what we've been talking about down in that region at that 23.6, which is why we've been thinking about that idea of the retrace on the 3-day time frame. Okay, so we're going back to the monthly, and then we're going to turn on the momentum and see what's going up in the charts. So heads up display is on. Link in the description for more, momentummaster.info. Scroll down to each of these indicators, you could toggle switch them on, see what it looks like at Bitcoin's bottom, and the schematic we use with the trend clouds and the baselines for that nice leading entry model. So last live we were talking about here on the 15-minute, this shift in the cloud and holding, and sure enough, even if you were able to just follow that live idea, you could get a cool percent with some leverage up there, and then have seen the cross down event here and closed into profit. Or even if you held it for whatever reason and it came back slightly to your entry, you could have had that almost cool percent on that. And you could have found some other entry models. So let's go see if that entry model presented itself somewhere on the lower time frame here. Okay, so we went back into the deep retrace zone 786 of that retrace idea of the impulse. And let's go see if there is something we could have seen here. Looks like the 5-minute would have given you a nice entry idea as it was holding that cloud, and right about here you had that cloud hold and shift to thin and turn blue, and since that point it just held up. Okay, so as you're holding here on the hourly time frame, cloud also starting to shift here in a manner to possibly go higher. This angle is slightly flat as we have been going sideways in this, but could provide us with a little bit of a continuation bounce to the upside to that 50x pool. Who knows? So that those 100x longs down in this region that they came and got, they could get those $146 million in their partners in crime down here. Let's zoom in a little bit. So they do have some 50x pools down in that 26470 region. 26470 would put you down in here. So these little guys down here, these 50xers beneath the low, they could wick them out with a scam wick and still come back up into these guys. So it could even come down here to go up to that. Wouldn't be surprised, low liquidity weekend, if they did a little bit of some scam wickage to just say no thanks to the 50xers and then go up to these 50x guys. They just took out that 100x pool that entered into that. And it could just go entirely sideways too. They could wait for a little bit to engineer some liquidity inside this range for the weekend and turn this into a larger idiot box / consolidation range for the entire weekend. We'll see how it goes. I don't really see much of a surge happening, but you could get that to occur into the London session. Who knows? If we look at the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame is now getting slightly overbought here and not really going anywhere but sideways. So this idea of getting overbought while going sideways could be a continuation to the downside. Cloud not abating, and this angle here on the 4-hour cloud still suggesting a possible fatigue point and coming back lower into these regions as well. No curvature on the cloud. Going to the 6-hour, same with that. Are getting the cross-up event of the baselines on the 6. $12-hour. So the 12-hour upwards angle of the 12-hour, at some point you could come back into bearishly retest that and continue lower. And this angle I'd be watching to see if this is going to thin at all. is this 12-hour cloud going to thin? 22 doing much of the same. 12 and 22 are similar. Daily time frame. So we're back at that daily time frame cloud. How does the cloud serve us here? Do we get a little bit of a bounce off of the 786 double tap here and continue a little bit higher into those pools? The 3-day time frame closing in 2 days time. We had that previous rejection of the cloud idea we were looking at. How does the baseline hold for the 3-day? Okay, so where do I see it going for the weekend? This current idea is basically holding that 706. If you can hold this region, basically, then this cloud, then you could see a little bit of a bounce perhaps up into these regions of the 50xers. Not really liking the amount of longs that entered here in this stacked range at 26,470 though. So a sweep of those guys first and just trading within this range yet again. This is a sweep even lower, so you'd be putting in a lower low if you were to do that though. The bearish trend-based fib levels are up in this region as well, so even if you come up to that 706 at the 50x pool, this could open a trap door at this region. Previously we broke down there too. If you look over here, that was the trap door before, boom, and so the engineered liquidity is still locked up there for them to grab. So we'll keep an eye on it for now, but we don't have any great insights of a great entry model just yet, unless it can hold this zone here at the 26,760 cloud region of the hourly here and get that bounce immediately from this region. So if you want to hold that as a tight line in the sand for the time being, or watch it come down and come back up above that, that would be some area to think about bouncing from. Hey, what's up, Dingo? And that is my short but sweet update. I must head out from now. I cannot give a in-depth analysis. I'm sorry about that. So we'll keep you posted either way. We were getting those previous 6 time frames oversold, switching to 4, and we once again told you that 4-hour kind of got overbought without going anywhere. So this chop suey, not the best of ideas right now. It just looks like it's engineering both sides and playing both sides as they chop up everything. Okay, so we'll keep you posted once again, and we thank you for your time. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the